Queenstown, New Zealand, adventure capital of the world, maximum summer, peak crowds.
We did almost none of what it's famous for.
And we think we got it more right than most people do.
Hidden history, unhurried days, and the case for doing Queenstown completely differently. We share all our costs at the end. I'm Judy.
And I'm Kevin. Welcome back to Find Gina Marie, where we share our lives as full-time travelers and the connections we make along the way.
Queenstown sits deep in the South Island, carved into the edge of Lake Wakatipu, surrounded by the Southern Alps. Remote, rugged, and on virtually every New Zealand itinerary.
By the time we got here, we had been fast traveling through Tasmania and New Zealand for 6 weeks. Queenstown, turns out, is not a town that asks you to slow down. We decided to do it anyway.
And then there's this, Milford Sound, the thing everyone asks about.
On a map, it looks manageable. It is not. Realistically, you're looking at 13 hours or more out of Queenstown.
Part of me thought we had to go. Milford feels almost mandatory. But we realized we weren't dreading missing it. We were actually dreading the day itself.
That's when you know.
I really felt that Milford deserved more than just a day trip. So does Doubtful Sound, which most people skip entirely. So we have committed ourselves to coming back, staying in Tianu and doing both properly.
If the fjords are your priority, book Tianu first. Queenstown is a different trip.
We started with the Skyline Gondola, and yes, it's the touristy thing to do.
I prefer when you don't have to walk up halfway a hill to get to a cable car and take up the rest of the hill.
You can walk down from the top of this experience. We are not.
But from up here, the crowds in the village disappear, and you remember that Lake Wakatipu and the Remarkables don't care about the hype. They've been here much longer than the bungee cords.
Sometimes you need the view from above before you can figure out how to move through something.
20,000 jelly beans.
That's not much. As long as they're not those cinnamon ones. You know I don't like the cinnamon ones. Especially the hot cinnamon. There's no reason to put those in a jelly bean
I
bag.
can smell them just hearing you say the word.
Yeah, I think a lot of those on her outfit are all the cinnamon ones. No, I don't like them. Even though these kind of attractions like gondolas or sky cars are a little expensive, it really does help the perspective of what you're visiting. The view from above can really make a difference.
Yeah, I feel like I have an overarching view of everything then that we'll be looking at during our entire time in a city. Back at the street level, the waterfront is its own thing. We loved seeing the street performers and all of the carts for food. It's just actually felt a little bit like a carnival to me.
Yeah, it was great to walk through, and there's so many people stopping and enjoying all the little items along the way.
And of course, all of that with the backdrop of the lake and the mountains, which are spectacular.
We visited the waterfront several times just because it's an enjoyable place to be, and frankly, people watching's fun.
I think it's nice when you don't have an agenda and you can just walk at your own pace and just watch what's going on without really feeling like you have to rush to get someplace.
And grab a Patagonia gelato while you're there.
Trust us on that one. Creamiest gelato we've had in a long time.
The first day we were walking around Queenstown, we didn't know what the heck was going on with this place. The line stretched forever. Now, it's just a burger joint, Fergburger, but apparently it's a rite of passage in this town.
And you definitely should do it, even though the line might be intimidating. I think it was voted the best burger in the world, or maybe the country, I don't know. It's pretty impressive. There's minimal seating, so most likely you're going to have to kind of walk somewhere and eat it on the sidewalk, but I don't recommend that. We have a better tip for you.
We took our burgers to Perky's. So the person at the Ferg bar, which is right next to Fergburger, said that they have a kitchen, so we couldn't eat there. So they suggested Perky's bar, which is right here.
Which is the floating boat.
And there's our drinks. Thank you.
So we got a couple of ciders, and let's do an unveiling. Now, technically, we could have just gone back to our hotel, which had like a social area that we could have had snacks and stuff, but we just kind of thought, let's celebrate. Now, these are our standard burgers. We got cheddar on them, and we added pickles. So they have a few different kinds of cheese that you could get, brie and Swiss and blue cheese. But we didn't want it to be overpowering. Now, it took about 17 minutes for us to wait in line to place an order, and about 23 minutes to actually have our food come out, which I don't think was terrible at all.
No, they said it was going to be 25 minutes, so they're pretty darn accurate with their
Yes,
numbers.
but considering sometimes you are waiting 2 hours in line, this was awesome.
Yeah.
It was seating, but it is very limited, so it really just made sense to take it with us, and I was super excited to try these burgers.
I'm super excited to try the onion rings. They're probably very hot, so they're not as hot, and they're really good, so very happy with the onion rings. Let me just say right now, if you have seasickness issues, this boat does move a lot, even though it never floats outside this dock.
Yeah, it's permanently anchored, but it is moving. It's a kind of a cold, windy day, so that may be why, but you're definitely feeling like you're on the water.
I also saw somebody else that had double meat on theirs or something, because it looked even taller than this.
I see a pickle, so I'm going to have it here. It tastes good.
Okay. Just a quick answer. Is it worth the wait?
I don't know. I've had good burgers in my life. I mean, this is really good, though. Would I wait 2 hours? Probably not. But the wait we had, I would totally do that again.
Okay. That's good.
But if you look at that line and your soul leaves your body...
A good option is Spite's Ale House. Good burgers, cold drinks, no wait. It's not Fergburger, but you won't have to eat your arm off.
Most people book half-day wine tours out of Central Otago. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't want to work that hard, we found a great place called The Winery that is right on the pedestrian mall, and it was a really fun, interesting experience.
And plenty of wines to choose from where you don't have to worry about a single serving of maybe 3 wines. Here's how it works. You load a wine card, insert it, choose your pour, taste, half glass, full glass, and the price adjusts. No guide, no tour group, no schedule.
Just you, the wine, and however long you want to take.
The range goes well beyond Central Otago. There are bottles from all over New Zealand and beyond.
We ate before we got there, but they also had really beautiful charcuterie boards. We could have spent hours in there.
And we kind of did.
And we weren't alone. We met up with Christine and Jung, who we first met when we were in Auckland, and then we connected again when we were in Queenstown.
That's one of the advantages that slow travel has. You can accidentally bump into people or schedule an extra meeting with somebody.
When you're not racing between tour buses, there's a lot of opportunity to connect with people that you want to spend time with, and no itinerary required. Before we talk about a place that I really wanted to visit, which was Arrowtown, a quick word about something we built specifically for travelers like us and you. We wanted to create one tool for all your travel plans, your reservations, your budget, your day-to-day spending across multiple currencies, everything you need, including when you don't have internet access.
So we spent the last year building it. It's called Voyage Vault. It's a personal finance app built for people who love to travel. We've been using it ourselves for months to manage our trips, track our spending, handle multiple currencies, store every confirmation, receipt, visa, and document that goes with each trip.
It even helps with things like keeping an eye on the Schengen 90-day rule, which if you travel in Europe, you know is the kind of thing that's easy to lose track of and really important not to.
Voyage Vault is available now in the Apple App Store and runs on your iPhone, iPad, and Mac. And if you do check it out, we'd love to hear what you think. Let us know in the comments or send us a message. When the adrenaline capital got too loud, we took a 20-minute public bus ride in the opposite direction.
We're headed to Arrowtown, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll be meeting up with some viewers as well.
Some may call it travel heresy, skipping a World Heritage fjord for a quiet village. We call it a rescue mission.
Arrowtown felt like a blast from the past, with a bunch of historic-looking buildings, and it just seemed like a quaint little town. And when we arrived, something shifted. Flat, easy, tree-lined, the water moving beside us. There was no racing anywhere. This is what we'd actually needed for days.
Our nervous system noticed the difference way before our brain did.
Arrowtown isn't just pretty, it's one of the most intact gold rush settlements in New Zealand. And unlike Queenstown, it doesn't feel curated for adrenaline. It feels lived in.
The pace is incredibly slow, and you can take as much time as you want there.
One of the best small town museums we've ever come across was the Lake District Museum that was built in 1948, and it houses over 30,000 artifacts.
I was surprised at how many things were in this that kept going and going. There you go. Getting the pipes.
Okay, I think it's kind of cool to see a little schoolroom, and especially with the cursive alphabet at the top.
Oh.
I don't know. I have warm, fond memories of that, and I remember learning how to write cursive.
With your inkwells and the
No, I didn't have
back in the
inkwells.
1800s?
But still, it's just cool.
Just in case you're thinking of grab a snack. You're not. There's a waxwork of a miner passed out at a bar, pinball machine called The Precarious Perils and Pitfalls of a Gold Miner.
And that last one tells you everything you need to know about the gold rush. There were actually quite a few surprises here. I think it was small, but really worth going through.
There's a lot of depth, and we highly recommend it. Don't skip it.
One of the most powerful experiences we had here was walking through the Chinese village. Chinese miners came here in the 1860s, drawn by the same gold rush as everyone else, and they were pushed to the margins of town and forced to work claims the European miners had already abandoned.
The discrimination against the Chinese community wasn't formally acknowledged by the government until 2002. That's when an apology came. Walking through this village with its simple huts that are still standing, some of them with jails, some of them with doctor's offices, some just covered in newspaper from the 1900s as their wallpaper.
One of the things that caught me most by surprise was a sign advertising opium. It was marketed as the safest and most pleasant preparation. I had no idea that behind the gold rush romance is a much darker story. The British Empire systematically addicted millions of people across Asia to fund its trade ambitions. And here it is, just pinned to a wall casually.
That's the kind of history that Arrowtown doesn't flinch from. Before we left, we took a walk down Arrow River, and we noticed several families panning for gold. The museum rents gold pans for $5, so you can try your luck in the same water where miners once staked their entire lives on a few flakes of color.
Yeah, but they may be finding gold. We may have millionaires in our midst.
Okay. I think I read a sign, something about 1890, most of the gold was gone. But...
Now, it might have been something that we would have enjoyed trying ourselves. We really didn't have time, but just watching these families was really fun.
And then we found this, Dorothy Brown's Cinema, a bookstore that also plays movies.
It was just so cool.
We did not have nearly enough time to spend here, but I promise you, this is a can't miss place. They have movies playing, they have books you can browse, they've got wine and cheese, they've got popcorn, they've got a balcony you could sit outside and just watch.
Have your cocktails?
Yes, you could not ask for a more perfect combination of things.
I did Dorothy Brown's Cinema, the balcony wine bar.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
Just standing there knowing that this place existed, it felt like a punchline to the whole trip. A very good punchline.
We ended the day at Bianca by Giovanni, an Italian restaurant right in Arrowtown. Homemade pasta, a very good red wine, a beautiful courtyard.
It was the perfect ending to a day we really needed.
Queenstown sells thrills.
Arrowtown quietly shows struggles, resilience, and what remains after the gold rush leaves.
If there's a place you've been that surprised you, that helped you to slow down and just breathe in the moment, let us know in the comments.
The Queenstown Gardens are a popular tourist site, but before we started traveling full-time, we never would have spent an afternoon in a rose garden. Never once.
History, art, museums, yes. Botanical gardens, we probably would have walked straight past.
But over time, we're noticing that something has shifted. And of course, we're still drawn to history and art and museums. That hasn't changed. But I think we're learning more about how to slow down for beauty too. To not walk past it just because it wasn't on the plan. And this is just incredible. I love this.
Massive tree overhead. Just look at that thing.
I feel like we're partners.
You and the tree?
Yeah.
And talk about beauty. The roses were in full bloom. These enormous old trees that were just so epic. Almost no one else around.
And there is just something about a garden that doesn't ask anything of you.
After 6 weeks of fast travel, we needed this quiet place more than we needed anything else.
A little more than a week before arriving in Queenstown, we had to make one of the hardest decisions that we've made in all of our travels, and that was not to return home after the passing of someone we loved. It was a really difficult decision, and we were still holding on to that when we arrived here.
The gardens, the quiet spectacles, the beauty around us was something we really needed at this time, and it was just the perfect moment for us to have this space.
Just up from the gardens is Queenstown Cemetery. It just tells a much fuller story of this place than anything downtown. Not just the gold rush history, all of it. The whole arc of lives lived here.
It's one of the few places in Queenstown where you can hear the birds instead of the tour groups.
I think we needed that too. So 8 days in Queenstown. Here's what it actually cost us. Travel from Nelson, New Zealand was $530 or $265 each. Accommodations at MyPad Queenstown were $1,590 or $199 a night. Getting around the city, $86. Dining and groceries, $874, which works out to $55 per person per day. Activities like the gondola, the bus to Arrowtown, that was $92 for 8 days.
In the adventure capital of the world.
The total with travel from Nelson was $3,172. Without it, $2,642, or $166 per person per day. And one of the best things we did here was slow down, and that was free. So let's talk about our final thoughts.
To be honest, a lot of this trip through New Zealand was a bit of a blur. I mean, we were a little heavy-hearted. There was a lot on our minds. We weren't always focused and present.
I think that our time in Queenstown was really well spent. It gave us time to be a little more reflective because you can't always be on even when you want to be. Sometimes there are just situations in your life that kind of put a little bit of a heaviness on your travels.
I do think that town brought us joy. I think Arrowtown brought us joy. I think there was moments of time with friends that brought us joy. There was a lot of time that we really got so much out of in this place.
In fact, our next stop was to Laos, and it was a 32-hour flight to get to Luang Prabang, which we'll be bringing you a video on that next week. But I remember a few times thinking back to that rose garden, and that's not something that I would typically do. So the fact that it was so memorable and I enjoyed it so much was really precious.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Queenstown. It was a great place.
In our video from Nelson, we share one of the most inspiring reinvention stories we'd ever heard. You can give that a watch next. Thanks for traveling around New Zealand with us. If you haven't already subscribed, we'd love for you to do that. Our next stop is going to be Laos, and you're not going to want to miss it.
And remember to
wander more,
worry less,
and bring a passport.
Until next time.
Until next time.